Hi guys, it's Tara and welcome to Crafting with Curly Cues. Today I am making my last Paper Smooches December Guest Designer project, doing some partial die cutting with these adorable little boom bots. So to start, I've got a piece of Neenah Solar White cardstock, and this is cut slightly wider than a top folding A2 card base, so it's about 4 3/4 inches wide. And I'm just going to take my T-square and I'm going to very lightly draw a pencil line there just to give me a little bit of a reference as I stamp for later. I have already cut using my stitched rectangle dies a piece of patterned paper here that's going to go on the front of my card. It's a little bit smaller than an A2 card, so I wanted to make sure that I knew how big that was going to be on my final card before I started stamping. So this is some VersaFine Black Onyx Pigment ink. It stamps really nice and crispy, and that's what I want these robots because I am kind of doing a black and white theme. I won't be doing any coloring, so I want to make sure that they stamp really nice and dark on the front of this card. So I'm inking up these two little adorable robots, and I'm just going to stamp them on either side of the Neenah here, using that line as a reference, kind of as the ground. So I'm putting their little feet just a little bit over that pencil line that I sketched, and I'm getting them pretty close to those little side hash marks that I noted. That's going to show me where that background piece of paper that I cut is going to land on my final card. And now I'm going to take this adorable punny sentiment. It says, "I am nuts and bolts about you." So stinking cute. I'm going to ink it up and I'm going to stamp it right below these little robots. I liked how long and straight and like robotic this sentiment was. I just thought it was super cute in contrast to the adorable sentiment that it's saying. I just really liked it. So I am taking my heat tool and drying these because pigment ink takes a long time to dry, and I want to make sure that I don't smudge anything when I'm doing my next steps of this card. So I'm just taking a good minute to just make sure that this ink is really nice and dry. Then I went in on the back just to prevent any warping from my paper. So now comes the fun part, and I'm going to take the coordinating dies for these two little guys, and I'm going to do some partial die cutting. So first I'm going to line them up on my Neenah, and I'm going to use some Post-it tape to adhere them right where they need to go so that I get a nice perfect cut. And then, excuse me, I thought I was going to sneeze. And then I'm going to take my cutting plates, my very well used and much loved Sizzix Big Shot cutting plates, and the pencil line that I've drawn there, I'm going to do my very best to line up with the end of this bottom cutting plate. Now, my cutting plate has a little bit of a bevel on the end, so I'm trying to line my pencil line up with where that bevel starts. Basically, I want everything above the pencil line to get squished in between the plates and everything below the pencil line to not get squished. So what that's going to do, as you can see, is cut my robots out at the top, but leave their little feet attached to the Neenah. So now to get them out of the paper, I'm going to take my metal ruler, and I use my metal one so that I don't accidentally slice through my plastic T-square, and my craft knife here, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut right up to where the die cut stopped in a nice straight line following that pencil line. And I am going to get that little spot in between her legs there, and then go out to the side. And then when I move my ruler, that little spot was giving me fits, so I had to go back and kind of finesse it out of there. But basically the top part now just pops right off, and it leaves my little robots attached to that bottom piece of my Neenah, so I can put it on my card front, and you'll see how it's going to kind of pop in front of that piece there. So I have this really pretty paper pack from Authentique. It's all Valentine's Day themed. I can't believe that's the kinds of cards we're making already. So I'm just looking for a piece of cardstock that's going to coordinate with my pattern here. I just redid my craft room recently. I'm super excited about it, but my colors in my craft room are black, white, and pink, and so that's kind of like, I don't know, every time a idea pops into my head for a Valentine's Day card, I keep going back to that color scheme because obviously I like it. So anyway, I cut a little strip of that coordinating pattern paper, and I just put a little score line in it there because I am going to fold it in half and create a banner. So I have this really fun kind of hot pink twine here, and I'm just going to cut a little piece and then apply a bunch of glue dots to the inside of that little banner that I cut and fold it over my twine. So I just want this one little flag on this banner for my little robots to hold. So now I'm going to come in with my scissors and create a nice little ribbon end for my banner. Excuse me, gosh, I'm having like allergies. I keep thinking I'm going to sneeze and like moving away from the microphone so I don't sneeze in your guys' ear, and then turns out I don't sneeze. But anyway, So I want them to be holding this little love banner in between them. So first I wanted to put it on front of their hands, but this twine's kind of unruly, and I realized real quick that that was going to kind of stick right in front of their faces. You weren't going to be able to see them. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it behind. So these are my micro glue dots, same ones I used on the banner, and I'm just putting one behind each of their little hands. And that's going to allow them to hold this little banner in between the two of them. Super fun. Oh, no, sneeze, still not there. Gosh, the suspense is killing me. So now that that's on there, I'm going to go ahead and snip off the ends of that twine. And then when I flip this over, you'll see these cute little black and white robots are holding this really fun, bright pink love banner in between them. So I think that's super cute, way fun. So now I'm going to start assembling the rest of my card. So I have gone ahead and constructed a A2 size card base out of some bright pink super fun cardstock. I think this is a Simon Says stamp cardstock, but I'm not 100% sure. I have a whole bunch of cardstock in my stash, and I don't really know what came from where anymore. But I had this color pink, and I thought that it went really well with the theme I'm going for. And now I'm going to put that pattern paper, that is from that same Authentique paper pad, by the way, on the front. And now I'm going to figure out how high up I want my little robots to be standing on this card. And once I figure that out, I'll flip it over and use my pencil to make a line on the front of, or excuse me, the back of that Nina. And then I'll just bust out my paper trimmer and trim the bottom of that off so that I'm able to glue that on my card right where I want it. So nice and simple, do a quick little cut. This card came together really fast. I kind of conceptualized it in my head and then just kind of dove for it. Usually I kind of let things mull a little bit, but for some reason this popped into my head and I was like, I'm doing it right now. And I like ran into the craft room and just started crafting in a craft frenzy. Sometimes that happens, but you know, when the muse comes, you have to make sure you take advantage. So now I'm using some foam tape and I'm just going to pop up this front panel onto the card. So you could see I kind of set the Nina panel next to the card base to judge how high to put that foam tape on there based on how tall my little front panel was. And now I'm just going to go ahead and peel the back off of all this foam tape and then stick that little monster panel right on the front. Now this should have been a really easy part, but I just trimmed my nails tonight for the first time in a while. I was trying to let them grow and then I decided that I did not want to let them grow. So I have these little stumpy nails and I've kind of forgotten how to use my little stumpy nails, and it took me longer than it should have to get all these little backings off of these foam tapes. But anyway. So now I'm just going to go ahead and stand that card up to make sure that I line the bottoms up perfectly, and I'm just going to apply that front panel onto the card. I love the dimension of them kind of popping up, and then that little banner is literally hanging in between them. I think it's super cute. Then I'll just come in with my scissors and trim off the excess because that piece of Nina was slightly wider than an A2 card. So now you could be done if you wanted to, but of course I have to come in and put some finishing touches on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my black gel pen and I'm just going to kind of put a little bit of a ground for them to be standing on. And for some reason I decided to do this little like heartbeat line. I don't know, this stamp set comes with one of these, like a little extra piece you can use that kind of looks like this. And so that's kind of where I got the inspiration. And then I went ahead and went around that pink border all the way around that black piece of pattern paper just to kind of tie it in to the ground as well and just give it kind of a little sketchy doodly look. And I think that that's cute because I'm leaving the robots black and white, so it really does look kind of sketchy. So then I came in with some really cute doodle bug embellishments. I've got some enamel dots and some super cute enamel hearts just to add to the Valentine theme and make sure that you really understand that these robots are in love. So that is the card for today, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed this card. This is my last project for Paper Smooches as the December guest designer. I have had an absolute blast working with Kim and the Paper Smooches team. I'm really sad to go, but it was such a great opportunity, and thank you so much to all of them for having me. Please hit subscribe, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. I will go ahead and list all of the supplies that I've used over at my blog, so you can go ahead and join me over there. I'm also on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. Thanks, guys. Bye.